Let's see. I can do the math here. That is probably good 14 inches of snow that came down after we shoveled the first 20,000 inches of snow. The roof to our gazebo ends here. See that? That is almost 2 feet of snow. This is all perfectly shoveled yesterday, but Snowmageddon decided to come back. I'm Mike Dimas, and this is Pinball Shenanigans. Alright, episode 3 of Quicksilver. Let's just hit the button and start rolling. I do not know what I am going to be doing tonight. I don't even have all that much time, but I'm going to do something. I did spend a couple hours earlier ordering up some parts because it is Cyber Monday, and I got a message from Titan Pinball saying that their deal ends tonight, so you better get your order in, which I did. So I ordered all translucent Titan rubber kit. Actually, I just ordered the it's like a big sample package, and it's normally like, I think, $90 on sale for $63 US. And there was maybe about 6 rubbers that weren't in the kit that I needed. You know, it came with 10 of these post rubbers, but I need 14. It didn't have a 2 1/4 inch rubber, which I need, I think, maybe for here. And it didn't have a 3 1/2 inch rubber, which I need for maybe, oh, it says right, there's the 2 1/4 right there. I like how it's printed right on the playfield. That's pretty cool. There's a 3 1/2 inch rubber. There it is. So the 3 1/2 and the 2 1/2 were not part of the sample kit, which has, I don't know how many rubbers in it, but a bunch, a lot. It's a good deal. So for $63, all I had to do was, I had the 4 post rubbers in stock already from an old kit I bought, and I had a 3 1/2 inch, so I just had to order 1 additional 2 1/4 inch rubber, and that will cover all this playfield, and then I'll have a poop load left over for future playfields. So I have all the white rubber I need in stock to do this and many machines, but got to go fancy schmancy on this one. Then I also ordered 5 new yellow lane guides. I think it's going to look great. Also ordered 33 tall yellow star posts and 13 short yellow star posts, 3 transparent yellow pop bumper bodies, 3 solid yellow pop bumper skirts, 2 brand new white flipper bats, yellow flipper rubbers, yellow shooter tip rubber. So can you envision it now? All yellow awesomeness with translucent, transparent Titan rubber throughout. Pop bumpers are going to look great. I got the new opaque original style pop bumper caps coming. So it's starting to shape up. I'm going to put a whole lot of lipstick on this pig and just live with it. That's the Shenanigander LEPing way. So, like I said, I don't know what I'm going to do. I did shave off a few little bits of chipped up vinyl on this wood rail here. They're like vinyl wrapped wood rails. There's a couple little scuffs and nicks. I just cut the pieces off and touched up with some black. That was my damage, I think, from dropping the whole playfield on the floor. But I cut off the excess and touched it up with black. So that is that. So, oh, I know what I want to do. I want to try and wire up those missing lamp sockets under the playfield. So let's do that. Okay, I already kind of went over these, but let's do this just a little bit more thoroughly. All these inserts on this machine are crusty, and I'm not using really any cleaner or anything. I find that they clean up just fine with a Q-tip, a dry Q-tip. If I start wetting the Q-tip, then I just like kind of smear the concoction around. So that's my strat. Okay, those guys are ready. Okay, I'm truly going to try and let this right up. We got about 9 inches worth of ground strap we need. And 5 lamp sockets. This is my spring break playfield. So I think I'm just going to steal from here. We got this guy here is on an end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, that is close. That might just do it. If I just steal that whole friggin' section right there, I think that might just work. Alright, I got my tools of the trade. Let's see how this goes. Okay, I should have actually probably cut a strand of 6 because there's a big gap here and that ain't gonna quite work, but I'll probably remove this guy here and add it to the end, and that should solve that problem. So let's see how this goes. Okay, so you kind of get the idea of what I'm doing here. This way I don't have to try and solder onto these lamp sockets on the lug, on the base there, which is a pain in the butt. But I've got that one going to there, that one going to there, this one kind of looping around like so. And then this is where, well, I shorted myself 1 socket because there's actually 6 here and not 5. So I think I'll remove this guy, add it here, and then jumper 1 more socket there. And then I'll actually check the wiring and see if that is correct. I'll be back. All right, this is done. Got this socket. So I took another strand of 2 from my playfield, stuck them here, and then I just screwed the lamp socket onto the ground braid coming from the other guys. So I didn't actually have to do any soldering there. I could solder these 2 together. I may do that, see if the solder takes. But that is on there tight, and that ain't going anywhere. And then that goes over to these guys. From that one socket to the next, to the next, to the next. So this socket I just removed. This is going to be the easy one. This blue-white wire, I know, goes on this guy right here. Now, I just got to figure out where So these 3 wires here, I think it's safe to say these 3 are going to go over to this guy. And then, I don't know, maybe orange over to here. And then we got a blue. We've got a black. We got a blue and another 2 blues. So maybe somebody just snipped these blues. Does that make sense? Not really. We got way too many wires for the amount of lamp sockets. This one reaches kind of over here, so wouldn't be surprised if that is our guy there, right? That would make sense. Not guaranteed, because who knows how short people clipped these wires. I think this guy, black guy, is probably here. The blue, I have no idea what the hell's going on with that, but I think red, white, and yellow all go over there. That's my suspicion. So I'm going to check on that and report back. Okay, check this out. Let's zoom out a bit here. This is something that was shared to me on Pinside in the Quicksilver Club. It is a tech chart that someone made up that basically has everything I need to know about wiring. So check this out. The 3 inserts that I am working on right now are 10,000, no, what is it? 5, 10, and 20,000, I think. Gray, green, green, black, black, red. Is that what it is? I thought it was a 15,000 in there. Yeah, I'm working on a 10,000, 15, and 20. So 10, 15, 20. All right, these are, oh, I get to turn that off. These are the wrong bonus lights. It is these bonus lights that I want. 10, 15, and 20. So remember, red, yellow, white. 10, 15, 20. Okay, so red goes there, yellow, and white. That is easy enough. And I have soldered this guy. So red, yellow, white. I'm going to solder those next. I'm not talking through this because I'm imagining that this is all going to be time-lapse stuff. Because y'all don't want to see this in normal motion. So I'll just talk to myself. Well, you can't see shit. That looks good. There's one big blob. I'm going to use $15 in solder just on these sockets, the rate I'm going. And this solder roll eluded me for like 2 months, maybe a month for sure. I figured it would turn up one day. And sure enough, I found it in my flipper parts bin. Like 2 months later. It was like a $80 discovery that I thought I lost. Okay. Look at that. Things are coming together. Just got to figure out WTF all this blue wire action is for. Alright, so the wiring is a little mislabeled in the manual, or just different on this machine, because this is the left side special, and it says that the right side special is an orange wire, but that's not true. This just looks like it fits here, so that's where it's going. The return lane is labeled correctly as black. And these guys are all done. And so ground strap wise, I have all these guys tied together. But now I'm starting wondering about these blue wires. These are just ground, right? But there's like just a straight up blue ground, it looks like, and a blue white ground. So I think this is the blue white. So is it possible these two are supposed to be on a little ground island of their own, and this connects to here, and then these guys are supposed to be on their own little island, and this connects to these guys? Is it bad if I tie all these together? I'm assuming these blue wires got to go on one of these sockets, or at least on the ground wire. So at least all the controlled lamps are wired up. I just got to figure out how to exactly deal with these blue ground wires. I missed a few bulbs when I was trying to remove every one of them. Look how crusty these guys are. And look how black. It's nasty. How did I miss so many? This one's tucked right in there pretty good though. That one would get your fingers black. And this guy here, very much crushed. Look at that. And is that it? Is there any more? Oh, of course, all the ones I just put in. Now I gotta remove. So I made a post on Pinside. I feel like this is probably just gonna go here and that's probably gonna go there. If someone on Pinside or somewhere, maybe I should put it on Pinball Repair Help Group too, because on the Facebooks, because sometimes there's more people active and there may just be more people in that group than there are on this one particular Quicksilver Pinside thread. So I might get a reply a lot quicker. Now I have to make sure I don't short any of these sockets together, which I am currently doing. Although, you know, the bases can technically touch each other. They are the ground, right? Okay, is that all of them? I think I've got them all removed. So I am probably gonna wrap up this video. If I can get an answer quick, then I'll deal with this. If not, it might be the end. So I'm just gonna leave you in suspense and you won't know until you know. Okay, it is tomorrow and I'm outside shoveling the snow. And just so you know, we got like 1 million inches of snow yesterday. So this is the path that was perfectly shoveled all the way to the shed. These are the stairs that were shoveled and the deck that was shoveled and the railings and the barbecue. There's probably let's see, I can do the math here. That is probably a good 14 inches of snow that came down after we shoveled the first 20,000 inches of snow. The roof to our gazebo ends here. See that? That is almost 2 feet of snow. This is all perfectly shoveled yesterday, but Snowmageddon decided to come back 2 days in a row, and I guess there's more coming. So it's a good day to deal with this and then go back into the basement and work on some Quicksilver. Where's Barry, by the way? I'd love to see Barry bounce around in the snow getting buried. Okay, just dealt with 400,000 square feet of snow. Back in the basement to continue on with the blue wires. So like I said, it is tomorrow. And just last night, I finished editing, finally got around to editing and posting episode number 1 of this project. So only just a few hours ago did I get a chance to read some comments. And I think there are like 700 people that voted that I should replace the playfield, which is kind of funny because I only got like 300 views, but there was quite the overwhelming reply and response to, getting a new playfield, which is obvious. I mean, who wants to see an old piece of poo go into a beautifully restored cabinet? So it's pretty obvious that everybody wants to see a new playfield go into the restored cabinet. No surprise there. And I feel like, episode 1 might get like 1,000, maybe even 1,500 views. And every episode thereafter might get like 12 or 13, knowing that I'm going to lep up this bad boy. So, I don't know. I did think long and hard about it, because all the work that I'm doing is friggin' 70% of the work that's involved in swapping the parts over to a new playfield. Like, I'm going to take apart all the pop bumper mechs, clean them, replace the parts, put them back in. I'm going to do that for the drop target banks. I'm going to do that for the slingshots. Why not do it for this up kicker? I already did the out hole. So by the time I've done all that stuff, I'm like 50% of the way. Also, I'm, removing every post, replacing them, lane guides, replacing them. What I am going to do by just refurbishing this playfield is half of the work involved in just swapping it over to a new playfield. But it is only half. There's still, for me, hundreds of more hours probably involved in removing all of these million staples from the ground braid or power line or whatever it's called. I called this ground strap, but turns out it is not ground, it is power. So see, I barely even know my terminology, let alone have the capacity to swap a playfield. But yeah, I'd have to snip a million staples. I'd have to transfer over all of the wiring, the switches. I have to add in, do I gotta add in T-nuts? Oh, there's no T-nuts on the back of this, is there? I thought on the HEP, oh yeah, there's T-nuts, there's gotta be. On the HEP Quicksilver build, I swear I saw him punch in a whole whack of T-nuts, but maybe, oh yeah, I bet you. So instead of these carriage bolts, you could put in T-nuts. And I already see an issue right there. That T-nut might not even fit if I wanted to replace these dumb bolts with T-nuts on your typical screws that go in from the top, like your threaded screws, instead of these carriage bolts that are mounted from underneath where you put the nut on top. Anyway, there's for me an additional 100 hours and $1,500. So we're lepping it up, baby. We're gonna keep rolling with this. So I feel the viewers dropping off one by one as I speak. Anyway, so it turns out that these blue wires do go on this power bus, and originally these two would have went to this. Thank you to the Pinsider that sent me that photo, or actually that was Facebook Repair Help Group, but it don't fit no more. So I'm gonna put it on this socket, and this guy ain't gonna fit over there. So I don't know, maybe could I put it to this socket as well? It's a lot of wires on one socket. So anyway, I'll figure that out. I'll be right back. All right, here's where we're at. I've got these blue wires nicely soldered to this lamp socket. So that's happy. And these blue wires don't reach any lamp socket. So I added one. So one day in the future, someone is going to be working on this playfield, you know, like 2082, and they're going to be like, why the F is this lamp socket here? And what is it missing an insert? What's going on? Somebody drunk at the factory? But no, it's just the LEPing ways. That way I've got a good spot to solder my blue wires. So added a lamp socket, just a little bonus for the next guy if I ever sell this thing. Okay, so let's solder this guy up, see how this goes. I added a little spritz of this goodness here. A little fluxage. Oh crap, I forgot to heat up my soldering iron. Does this look blurry? Oh yeah. Showing off my flux messed with the camera. And yeah, so I'm going to try and get a good amount of heat on there and a bunch of solder. I didn't really yoink on my wires here, but it felt like it was on there solid. Yeah, these guys are good. Probably should like solder this wire to this wire as well, because it's only connected by the pressure of me screwing this lamp socket into the playfield and pinching this wire. So it's not actually you know, connected properly. So I should deal with that. And I just talked to Shane Jackson and of Maple Pinball, and he told me about 12 times that I should also swap the playfield. Then I explained to him the whole how LEPing works, because he didn't really understand until I gave him the explanation. All right, my solder iron should be nice and hot now. I'm on a bit of a leash. Just the way I've got this set up. I've got my solder base on the table. And I only have so much room to work with here. This is a very awkward little spot. I've got to try and get the most amount of soldering iron on the lamp socket here. I also dremeled that area of the lamp socket just to scuff it up so that this solder would have a little extra to grab onto. So I'm just going to load this up. I'm not going to be shy about it. Then I'm going to kind of add some pressure here to really make sure everything's getting heated up. Flux is doing its job, I think. And I really shouldn't be breathing this in. It smells like nasty. Okay, it's definitely a good amount of solder. Sometimes these old wires just don't like to take to the solder very well. So a good amount of heat is clutch. But I think that should do it. Okay. Alright, oh shoot, sorry. All of my screws are tight. I'm pretty sure everything's going to be happy, but we can double check. You know, I think we're good. Okay, I'm kind of getting tired of this dangly coil, so just for temporarily sakes, found an old coil stop. What in tarnation? The holes don't line up. I got 2 wide holes, and this is 2 skinny holes. So I guess that's the difference between the early stern, which is Nugent, and the newer stern, which is Quicksilver. Can I just finagle this into there just to hold this in place temporarily? There we go. Yeah. All right. That will stop flopping around now, at least. Oh, and next thing I noticed, well, the other day, I don't know if I was turning the rotisserie or what, but I heard a little jingle jingle, and I found these bits on the floor, and I thought, well, it definitely looks like one of these guys that goes to a drop target, but it's not long enough. And I found the washer. This I still don't know where that goes. I don't even think that's Quicksilver. Should probably put my flux away, stop breathing it in. So I found homes for these things because I discovered yesterday this. It's supposed to look more like this. So we got a little pin, we got a washer, and we got a little E-clip. So if I go like this, pin into the washer first, and then sorry, you getting dizzy? The lever goes on the inside, okay, like so. Stick this in, wait a minute, no, comes from the inside. Like that. Then I just gotta find an E-clip, and then that'll be remedied. Okay, I found some E-clips. This guy looks like it should do the trick. Might need these guys. Gotta be so careful walking around this rotisserie. I really gotta get rid of these machines and make some real space back here. That is the idea. Let's see if this guy fits. Looks like a good candidate. Just might need a little assist. Oh, that snapped on there. Perfect. Okay. Disaster averted. Also working on a little side project. Our old Eli mug. Rest in peace, our little Eli. Jamie likes to have coffee with her every morning. And this was just sitting beside the sink, and I decided to put a plate in the sink. And the plate hit the handle and broke it. So this is actually in 2 pieces. And I don't know, it seems to be holding. No. I was trying this rubber cement, but that's not doing the trick. Anyway, I did just order a new mug, but I thought maybe if I can glue this, I can, I don't know, use it for like pencils down here or something, and have Eli in the basement as well. Alright, I think next I'm going to clean up these slingshots. I'm not really waiting on any new parts. I was contemplating changing out the arms, but it's because they're a little floppy. But honestly, I think that's just factory and is fine. I don't know if there's anything that can be done about that. But I'm going to take them apart, clean them, add in a new sleeve. Missing hardware here, just a couple nuts and washers, which I can steal from this mech that I found in my stash. I still gotta go get my parts meteor playfield, the really roached one, not the one I just gave to Kevin, not that meteor playfield. And that'll be nice to have just little bits and pieces that I need. So I want to replace these guys in case I ever need this in case of emergency. But for now, I'll steal those and start cleaning up some slingshots. Okay, here's your before. Pretty black coil. The area is pretty black too. I'll clean that up a bit. And then the hardware. Pretty crusty. And the old sleeve. Alright, got these parts cleaned up as best as I'm going to get them. Oh, I also took the Dremel to the edges. There's just the tiniest bit of mushrooming. So I did that to both the coil stop and the plunger, just so there's no catching on any sleevage. It's nice and smooth. I stole my parts from the donor bracket, and yeah, it's coming along. Time to reassemble, and I got most of the black gunk off of the playfield as well. Alright, slingshot number 1 is done. I've got all my nuts and screws and lock washers where they should be. Don't love that this is not exactly perpendicular, but I don't know that there's much I can do about that. Did look into replacement arms, and they don't exist for these guys, but apparently you can use like a newer modern Bally style, but I figure if the slings are slonging, then I'm gonna be happy. As long as there's no actual issue, then if it's shotting and slinging, then I'm happy with that. Also, I noticed this. Ooh, I didn't realize there was green goo involved until now. So I think someone made a boo-boo and bandaged it all up. But that should be fine. What does this control? The outhole switch and the outhole kicker. And yeah, we don't want that shorting. I don't think that would be good. So I go over every single switch and I'm just checking on all the capacitors and diodes and just making sure no lugs are touching. Like, look, this was replaced. They didn't cut off their little end there. So that could easily short on something. And that's one of those things that could take someone a bit to figure out. So be a little proactive about this. Get rid of that. Anyway, oh yeah, also I forgot to mention in the comments, got old Pezzy Boy Johnson guessed that the bet is in. You know, how many episodes do you think this is going to be? Pez has placed his bet, 10.5 episodes. That's the over-under. What do y'all think? You know, I think it's a pretty accurate guess. Whitewater, I think, was like 23 episodes. It was a little more complex. Frontier, I think, was 11 because it's a little more simple. This has a few more obstacles dealing with the body and the lamp panel and whatnot. So it might be a little, I mean, if you're going 10.5 Pez, I'm going to have to bet over on myself. But I'm kind of invested in the game, so it's like a little bit insider trading, so I can't really bet on myself. Okay, let's have a look at this other slingshot. It's actually even worse than the other one. I'll get it much cleaner. Like, that link is black. It used to be white. That's not too horrible. Let's see, is it like a little bit mushroomy? Yeah, I can feel a little bit of a lip there. So I will Dremel that. I'll do the same for the coil stop. It's definitely a little bit beat up, beaten in over the years. But it ain't getting a new one. Also, there's 6 screws for this thing. 3 here and 3 here. And they're different sizes. So don't try and go screwing your big screw into the small hole, because it don't feel very good. Over on the playfield side of things, it's dirty. This is me after cleaning the coil. And look what else I found. We got something going on here, which I shortly figured out. It is the old lug to this switch is broken off. So I'm going to have to do some switch surgery. Remove this switch, replace that leaf, resolder those wires, and somewhere in here, I'm sure I can find the leaf that I need. It looks a little better. Got rid of the most offending crusties and rusties, and dremeled these nice and smooth. Oh yeah, buttery smooth. And instead of trying to surgically fix this switch, I probably have one on my Meteor Parts playfield, so I'm very tempted to go grab that. It's going to take me like a half an hour round trip, but I could have used it here. Fortunately, I found some bits. Actually, I probably have those in my toolbox, tool bin too, or parts bin. But this is the second time, actually third time I've thought I needed that parts playfield, because I've got one broken playfield bracket. So it might be time to just friggin' get over to storage and get that friggin' Meteor playfield over here. Alright, just in case you want to watch some of these shenanigans, I'll throw up the tripod. I haven't been recording a lot of me doing in the last 500 videos, because I've been kind of lazy. I've been just more recording like, hey, I'm about to do this, and then I show you the finished product. And I kind of just do a little before, then I do a little bit after. It's the lazy way. There's a little less editing that way. If I set up the camera on the tripod and I record stuff like this, definitely adds up to more video footage to edit. But when I watch YouTube videos of restorations and stuff, be it electronics, pinball, automobiles, I do kind of like to watch the person in action, not just a before and after shot. So for at least this episode, out of the last 500 episodes, this one has got the most of me actually doing stuff live in like forever. So I don't know, you can let me know. I imagine it's preferred, but if you like this, maybe I'll try and be a little less lazy and do a little more of it. And then have to do more at the editing table. But you know, if I was getting millions of views, then that would be a different story. I would definitely, but you know, for the 300 of you that are going to watch this video, it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work in the friggin' editing room. And you know how we all love editing, all us content guys. This goes like this. Where's my new sleeve? So, although I have not really accomplished a whole lot in this video, it's going to be one of the longer ones probably, because I did a lot of setting up the old camera on the tripod. There you go. And just need my nuts and washers and coil stop. Also, you know what? I don't have a professional, I need my glasses, microphone. I really should contemplate getting one, but it's another level of pain in the assery that I don't really want to deal with. So that when I walk around, it don't matter if I'm close or far away from the camera. It will pick me up just fine and dandy. I did have, I forget who sent me one of these microphones. Was it Greg Martin? I don't know. I forget. I apologize, but someone did send me one of these wireless mics. USB mic or whatever, Bluetooth mic. And I tried it for a couple episodes. And I actually got a couple comments saying that they didn't love it. What? I got 2 washers on there. How did you do that? It kind of sounded a little like, I don't know, maybe it just was mono and it wasn't stereo. It kind of sounded tinny and like I was talking inside of a box. And it just didn't sound amazing. I mean, it picked up my voice well. I think the first one I did with the Bluetooth mic was when Trent Kennedy sent me and Kevin a bunch of cool friggin' Twilight Zone mods, which is shit. Did I fuck? Wrong side. At least if I'm recording, you get to witness some more of the shenanigans, because sometimes a lot of this stuff happens without the button being pressed on the old recorder. So let's try that again. But yeah, so Trent Kennedy of Interactive Pinball sent me and Kevin some cool ass Twilight Zone interactive pinball mods. And we did a video of us installing the rocket ship and the piano with the moving keys. And that is the first time I used the, I think the first time, first or second, that I used the Bluetooth mic. And it definitely did sound different. I think one person said, like, hey, long-time viewer, first-time commenter, just want to say that microphone shit sucks. Don't use it, please. And now I'm missing a washer. How does that even happen? A lock washer. I had too many, now I have too little. Did I put 2 on there? So, and then I had someone else comment saying something like, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but I kind of lose the old shenanigander charm by getting too professional on this. So, whatevs. I gotta go find another lock washer. I'll be right back. Okay, got one. So, we'll see how much friggin' how many minutes of and hours of editing I need to do on this video, and then determine if I want to keep that up. All right, is this thing happy and snappy? Yeah, okay, that's great. So I may just run to storage, get that stupid playfield, but there's been about 3 feet of snow that have come down in the last 2 days, and I haven't left the house today or yesterday, so I don't know what it's like out there in the scary world. But I am going to Forked River tonight to play some pinball, our little bi-weekly tournament. It is 5:30. I got about 2 hours. So I do have time to go get that. And then I can steal the switch and wire that up. What do you think? All right, we're off to storage. And I want you to have a look. Look at this snowplow right there. Look at this insanity. 2 days ago, this was all green grass and nothing. Then Mother Nature gave us Snowmageddon 1 yesterday and Snowmageddon 2 today. So this is what we're dealing with in London, Ontario, boys and girls. All right, made it to storage. This is my playfield graveyard, I guess you could say. And somewhere in here, what is that? I think that is my Gold Wings. Xenon. Are these stern coils? No, this looks like maybe Kings of Steel. Oh no, that's firepower. This, I think I already stole flipper brackets off this guy. So yeah, 4 drop target assemblies. That is Meteor. So you got some slingshot friggin' switches. Yeah, all right. Playfield bracket, shit. Well, at least Kings of Steel has one. Hopefully it's the same. Damn it. I think I gave one of these. I had one good one. I think I gave it to Dan Shattuck, maybe. Shattuck, I want it back, damn it. All right, now that I lugged this thing all the way home, better be the same friggin' switch. Looks pretty promising, though. I can't believe I don't have my playfield bracket on this thing. I was certain I had one, but like I said, I must have given it to my buddy old pal Dan Shattuck. So I remember him asking me if I had one, and all of a sudden, the one that I had is now missing. So I'm doing the math. Let's see here. Well, let's just snip these guys. Try not to snip the capacitor, because might just keep that on there. So hopefully I didn't lug this whole thing over here for one friggin' switch. It better come in more handy than that. There we go. That looks exactly like what I need. And I've got the other switch out so we can take a look. I figure if I can just finish this job, then I'll be content. Oh, I snipped the frickin' leg anyway. What a dork. But look at this. Exact same part without a broken lug. So let's see, we got, yep, 3 lugs, 1 on the side and 2 lugs, so perfect. Okay, fine. Since you find this stuff so enthralling, I will bring you along for the action. First thing we're gonna do, well, I'll put in a new capacitor. As you can see, technology has improved. It's not the size of a loonie like it used to be. And I just remove the bits of wire so my holes are exposed. Whoa. Don't want your holes exposed too much though, especially in public. Anyway, let's see what we got here. We know that this wire, because of our amazing memory, goes on this side. Look at that. First time. Boom. Now, this is going to be the fun part. Putting 3 effing wires on one lug. Okay. That's probably why it broke off, because it's got all this tension coming from everywhere. Maybe we gotta reduce some tension. I feel like I'm fighting these wires. Let's get rid of this. They need to be free. There we go. Now look at all the friggin' happiness we have. We gotta get rid of this old lug. I could use some needle nose right about now, so I don't burn my fingies. Okay. Probably should use some fresh solder to help melt the old solder, but no, this is looking fine. This should, there we go, just like that. No problem. There is my broken lug. Okay, well, let's do the easy part first. Where's my solder? We'll do this guy over here. Can you see that? There's only 50 wires in the way. It's definitely nice working off of a rotisserie. I mean, I'm still bending over and my back is not, 100% happy, but probably a lot happier than if I had no rotisserie. Okay, I think I like the looks of that. Easy side done. That's on there good. Now for the fun part. I don't even know. Didn't give me a whole lot of wire to work with here, because I kind of want to start a little bit fresh and maybe twist this wire onto this wire. I'm going to try that. But then I'm shortening my wire, but I got to get rid of the solder, or else it just ain't going to twist. So I'll give myself lots of room there. See if I can twist these together. It's not going that well, but it might work. I'll try and just solder these wires together first. Could potentially use a little flux here, but let's see if I can make it work. Might be good. Now there's no way that 3-wire bundle is going to fit in the hole in the switch, so I'm just going to have to tackle it from the side. These guys are currently happy together, but we'll see what happens when I add more solder. Let's go like this. Ooh, that kind of just holds itself into place. That would be nice. No. Kind of. Could use, like, I got little pinchers. Just squeeze the lug to the wires. But this might just friggin' work. Not sure I love that yet. Oh, that's blurry as shit. Okay, that's better. Let's see what we got. Giving that a good tug. That ain't going anywhere. Now this looks like a diode, doesn't it? Is there a diode on the other side? Yep. But there's no capacitor on the other side. So I don't know if they just didn't put one there or it broke off. But the other slingshot does not have a capacitor here. But maybe it wants one. Anyway, I'd call that progress. Turn this off. Just out of curiosity. Does it look like there was evidence of a capacitor on that switch at one point in time? Does not look like it to me, but oh well, maybe they just don't put them on slingshots. It's more about close targets. Slingshot's gonna sling. So, but yet, Meteor had one in its slingshot. Let's go look for fun on the other slingshot. Let's figure out what Stern was doing here. Stern does put a capacitor on the one and diode on the other. Diode here, capacitor here. So either they just didn't do it on this Quicksilver, or the capacitor is actually missing, but I don't really see any like old pieces of capacitor leg, so having a hard time believing it. Anyway, what did I do today? I don't know, it was over the course of 2 days, so I kind of forget now. But at least 2 slingshot mechs and a switch. So there we go. At this rate, might be 47 episodes before this is over. But episode 3 is in the books. See you on the next one.